Alright, hey guys, Simon here, and the Stonehearth guys have pushed out another update. So release 42, I don't think there's actually that much changed, but they say the job promotion is different, so instead of you building the carpenter station and then getting a carpenter, you get the carpenter and then the carpenter builds the station. I'm not sure if it actually fixes his AI or if it's just a gameplay thing. There's a world map, there's world critters that don't actually do anything, but there's like bunnies and sheep, I believe, in the game. And then there's a quick start, which I don't know if we should do that. Let's just go with the new game. Oh, that's interesting. The game crashed. Let's try that again. Actually, no, the game is still going. Something crashed. That was interesting. So these are vegetation stems. I don't see the berries though. So I don't know if this is good or bad. So you start off in the world map, you don't start off straight away in the game. I don't actually know if this is good or bad. They say that this is incomplete, and so maybe at some point you get more information here. So like, you know, clusters of berries might be highlighted and, you know, stuff like that. But for now, let's start there. Not sure if that's a good idea. Oh wait, that's a world map. Hold on. That's a world map. That's not the game map. That's a bigger one than the... Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So we're building a town, but there's a bigger world out there. I think that's what it means. But that's interesting. That's very interesting. If we get into, like, you know, SimCity style multiplayer with neighboring cities, that might be very interesting. Also very complicated. Alright, so actually, is this... Can I zoom out? Let me just zoom out a little bit. So was this the same map as before? I think no, this is just the same map as before. It's not a... That one we had before, wasn't it? Or is it? I don't actually know. Can't tell. Alright, then anyway. Let's just... the berries are on top of the... I don't actually know if the villagers can get up and down the slope, like this cliff here. Let me just put a banner here, and then put the stockpile like there, and then tell them to chop down this tree. And no, they can't actually get up and down. They can't get up and down these cliffs. I saw some sheep here, look, sheep. A sheep. Interesting. Also very high geometry. So they can't actually do that, and we can't cancel the command neither. That might be a problem later on. Alright, so let's just grab some wood and berries and let's just spam the command, see if we can crash the game. No, the game's doing quite well. Alright, so that's good. It can handle multiple commands even though they're not very good at prioritizing their work. Alright, so I think we'll just go with the carpenter. Let's see if they fix the carpenter. If they haven't, then we're just going to stop testing it because there's no point trying to do something that they haven't actually fixed. Build? Okay, how do we promote the carpenter? Oh, the saw. So we start off with a saw in the stockpile, I see. So we're gonna promote one of these guys. Yep. You, sir, are gonna be a carpenter. It's not really a free market economy, is it? We're kind of assigning people's jobs. They're not choosing their own jobs. Aren't you supposed to build something? Aren't you supposed to... Okay, I have to actually tell him. Alright, I'm gonna tell him to build a workshop. There. The stockpile there. There. We'll see if... Okay, I mean, I don't know if that's better or not. It seems like it would require more more micro, as they call it in real-time strategy. Like there's kind of like you have. It basically means you have to give a lot of commands. I feel like they have to find the character, find the saw, and then tell him to build. Whereas earlier, you just kind of it's here. Like you don't have to find the saw. It's just here, you know. So it seems like you have to do more work now. Like what if you forgot where the saw is? I guess that's your job, right? To keep track of it. All right, so let's. So he's got. Okay, that's fine. Let's tell him to build 6 beds. Mean bed. 6 beds. Craft. Good, you do that. And in the meantime, these people are not doing anything. Alright, let's just chop down more trees. Feel like we're gonna need a lot of trees. So the other people aren't actually helping him. I remember in an earlier version, like the other people would help him carry wood to his workbench, and then he would just use the wood there. But now it seems like he has to do everything himself. Look at that. Like nobody else is giving him wood. I guess it's simpler on the AI, but then it's like kind of like less efficient. So what's she doing? Okay, she's gonna take the bed and put it in the main stockpile. Have I said this? It reminds me a little bit of Settlers 2. Maybe I should play Settlers 2. The problem is it's difficult to record because it's not a 3D accelerated game, and so you can use DOSBox to play Settlers 2, but then you need a screen capture thing to record it. You can't just use DxTory or Fraps. But Settlers 2 is a great game. We should play that sometime. They should remake the game, really, I think. Settlers 2 HD, I'm sure it will sell pretty well. Well enough for them to be worth the effort, I think. Alright, so the carpenter is not getting stuck anymore. We're not getting stuck yet, at least. Let's put the beds... I can't tell which side is the head. It's got one side is taller, right? Yeah, okay, so that's... Alright, let's put the bed there. And then we place the next bed next to it. How close can they be? I'm thinking there'll be pathing issues, so we put them right next to each other, right? Let's put that one there. Is that too close? Not sure. Not sure if that's too close or not. Place mean bed. Alright, let's stick that right there. Error! What does that say? Stonehearth components AI execution unit v2. Bad unit transition start thinking from thinking. Oh great. It's the other way around. Why is the foot of the bed the one with the board? Or is he just sleeping the wrong way? Okay, so there's still some AI bugs going on. Bad unit transition start thinking from thinking. So they're kind of thinking backwards somehow. Alright, so that person is sleeping, good. The carpenter is still working during the night, good. A hard-working guy. And... you can't give things commands. So I was trying to put the bed, but the person was already carrying it, so I couldn't do it when they're carrying it. Just kind of noting these things. Oh, wait, why? Yeah, see, why is... Oh well, so I got that wrong. So apparently the head of the bed is the one with the lower board. Is that again? So that's a pretty that's a persistent bug. So it's doing again. Start thinking from thinking. So there's probably just kind of that back to front. I think you're supposed to transition from start thinking into thinking. That person missed the bed. All right. So there's one more bed there. Let's put that down there, and then build a wall. Maybe? Let's try that. Oh wait, I didn't hold shift, so not a simple room. I'm gonna build. No back. No escape. Structures. Wall loop. I need to hold shift. Ah, crap. Can I not cancel these things? This is awkward. No, we can't delete things. Alright. Well, that's a bit awkward, I guess. Structures, wall loop. Let's do that and hold shift. Alright. No, I should have stopped there. Shouldn't I? Yeah, I should have stopped there. Oops. Well, let's just do that. And the game lags a little bit, and then, alright, let's just build a wall. Not sure if that's a good wall or not, so it looks more like a stable than a room. That's alright, I'm sure they don't mind. They're not intelligent enough to mind. It's gonna need more wood, I think. Let's just chop down more trees. What do we have? Assertion failed? Runtime error? Well, maybe that crash we had at the start, I don't think you saw it, but there was like an error window when we started the game. There's some serious bugs here, but the game seems to run still despite the bugs, so let's just, you know, let it play out. Let's just grab more berries. And we're back to this, sitting around a fire instead of working during the night. I don't know if the beds actually allow them to rest more efficiently, as in, you know, they can work longer now that they sleep a little bit. So the carpenter seems to be fixed. Remember in the last video the carpenter just kind of forgot what he was doing and stopped working. This time he managed to build 6 beds without, you know, getting stuck on anything or getting lost. I'm pretty confident the other guys will be able to build this wall as long as they're not sitting around. So let's continue with table for 1, a dining table? Alright, let's make a dining table and make like 4 Gothic chairs. They use more wood. Oh, hold on. When sitting, food is 20% more satisfying. Oh, I see. I see what that means. Alright, so let's just give them normal chairs, because we don't really want to spend too much wood on the chairs. The carpenter fell asleep at the crafting table. Alright. We can build fences and... oh, hey! Gates. Interesting. We didn't really try the fence and the gates, did we, last time? We should try those. Although I'm not sure it's a good idea to have the fences and the gates here instead of here in the structures, because it seems like fences will end up being quite elaborate, and, you know, building them one segment at a time might not be the best thing to do. Like, you know, like this sort of thing for a fence might make more sense than trying to build them one block at a time. But we'll see. Let's just try that out after we've built this table and chairs. A bit of wood. Do we have wood on the other side? We do. We should shut down these trees. These are bigger, aren't they? Small. No, those are small actually. These are not bigger, and they can't get up here because of cliff. I mean, I can imagine, you know, later on if you can dig into the ground and then reshape the earth and stuff like that, it might turn out to be quite awesome. We are not there yet, though, and I don't think we'll be there for quite a while. In the meantime, can we find some bunnies? So the sheep are just wandering around, not doing all that much. The game's also lagging a little bit. There's lag spikes, I think. There's flowers. I don't see any bunnies. Yeah, the game is lagging a bit. I think the AI is having some difficulties. Interesting. So no bunnies to be found. And these guys are building that wall quite proficiently, it seems. So you got a table and a chair. Alright, let's just grab the table. Put the table down there. And then we'll put the chairs around it, I think. How close can they be? Can they be this close? Can they... Well, they seem to, like, the characters seem to walk through furniture anyway, so maybe it's not a problem. Alright, let's rotate that and put that there. Take that and drop that. Oh wait, can I put the... No, that's just too close, isn't it? I don't know. I think I can't tell. Why are there... Alright, that's correct. So you can see him sitting there in front of the table, so that's actually correct. Kind of. He's not really using the table, he's just kind of eating the berries off his lap, it looks like. I might have... Oh no, no, alright, good. So now we have a table, 4 chairs, 6 beds. The carpenter... I wonder about that, because the carpenter only does carpenting now. You think that he should be able to also help with the generic tasks, like, you know, just moving stuff around and building the walls, when he's not being a carpenter, when he's not actually building the stuff. Why is he not able to do other stuff as well? I don't know. Maybe he should. So walls take forever to build, because they're trying to do it 1 block at a time. There's wood there. I think we're gonna run out of wood. Let's just leave these guys for a little bit. So the carpenter is working great. So we can tick that off the list for this. Or at least for now. The carpenter works pretty well. Should we try with the fences? Let's try fences. Let's try 10 of those. And then 1 of those. Let's see how the little villagers deal with fences. I'm gonna chop down more trees, we're gonna run out of wood. It probably doesn't help. Oh wait, yeah, it probably doesn't help that this thing is still... Can I cancel that? Oh wait, I right clicked and then this thing came up. C++ exception runtime error when I right click on the tree. Fascinating. Not sure what that means. Can we not cancel the command? No, we can't. Alright, well, there was a C++ runtime error when we started the game, so maybe that's one of the problems right now. They are smart enough to use the beds though. So there's a fence there, like you have to... No, this is not good. Because you do end up having to place each fence block individually. Now the fence should not be the carpenter's job. The fence should be a... Or at least there should be some way to make it so that you can place a whole row of fences. Because that's not... Unless you can. Let's try putting this down. Click to place this item in the world. Right click to rotate the item before clicking. Oh, placing. Right. But it's only 1 segment, right? Let me just put that there. No, I can't drag it. Yeah, no, you have to do it one at a time. That's crazy. I mean, imagine if you have like a giant field. You want to be placing 100 of these individual things. No, that's not really good. That's not good. We need some sort of like this sort of interface for the fences. We can't have these things being placed individually. You can see the AI chugging a little bit, having some difficulties. And that worker just took the fence, this one I'm talking about, walked halfway there, turned around to the berries, turned around again, put the fence down, and then I think she's gonna go back to the berries, is she? She might. Yeah, she's gonna go back to the berries. She was hungry. Ah, yes. Or is she? No, she's gonna pick up wood to go build. Okay, there's a bit of weirdness, but mostly okay. Yeah, she picked up a fence, walked halfway there, turned around, and then came back, put it down, and then went back, picked up the block, and then started building stuff. Alright, we're definitely running out of wood now. Yeah, and again, like I keep saying this, like the AI is chugging a little bit. I know the computer is old, my one. But even just having 6 guys build, you know, a little bit of wall and a few tables is making it chug. You can see how long it takes for these guys to build this thing. So you need to really have an entertaining game. I think you need like 3 times as many people, because you know otherwise it literally takes half an hour to build like a simple room, and that's not entertainment. I don't know if it is for you guys. It's more like you know, a Facebook game where you have to wait hours and hours to either that or pay more money. You know, that's not really a good kind of a game mechanic. There is a lot of waiting. Like I literally have my hands off the keyboard and mouse, and I'm just not doing anything. Just watching these things play out. And the AI is already struggling to keep up. Like the computer is struggling to keep up with the AI. They're almost there. Look at that. They're almost done building that wall. Okay, so they haven't actually increased the scope of the game since the first alpha, right? Or since the first release. Like with the carpenter, with the simple wall, with the wall loop, with the furniture. So since the first alpha release, they've basically made that work. They haven't increased the scope of the game at all. There's no new items, you know, there's no new jobs. There's not really any new resources in the game. They've just made it work, and it's taken them a while. The idea is that once the underlying game engine is complete, then the rest should be easy. Should be easy. You know, you never know, right? Like, do they worry? I wonder if they do, like the developers. I wonder if they worry about scaling this thing up. I wonder how confident they are that they can scale up the AI and have it efficient. I mean, they talk about, you know, making the AI more efficient. That's one of the things that they still have to do, but you know, not having seen the code, not that I would know what to make of the code anyway, but you know, not being the programmer, I don't actually know how much they can optimize this. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, I don't know. You know, there's a certain charm to this, and I can see the potential for some interesting emergent narratives. I mean, like, you know, imagine if you mismanage your village and you run out of food and everybody starves and dies. That's terrible, right? But that can happen, or, you know, conceivably that can happen. Or, you know, if you overwork your workers and they all get sick and die. It can be quite, you know, there can be a lot of depth to this. And that's always the holy grail, I think, of sandbox games, is the emergent gameplay. And it's one of the things that I don't think Terraria does very well. And I haven't actually played Starbound, but from what I've seen, I don't think Starbound does that very well neither. Like, you never get anything beyond what the game designer intended. So I mean, the emergent gameplay is you know, when things happen in the game that the game designer did not actually intend. In Minecraft that's happened, most famously the mob trap. You know, the mob grinder, where you kind of deliberately create conditions to spawn hostile mobs and then kill them for resources. So that's emergent. Notch never intended for that to be. I mean, I guess it was always possible, but he never intended for that to happen. But the players eventually figured it out, and they've kind of done some very clever things with that. And I think Mojang has some problems with it. Like, every so often you hear Jeb or Dinnerbone or somebody talk about how the mob trap is not really correct, in a way. Not really sure what they mean, to be honest. I don't know. Like every so often, like, Dinnerbone will say something that seems to sound like he's against the mob traps, and then everybody gets mad at him because the mob traps are awesome. Like, we want it. We want more emergent gameplay, not less. And then he would try to clarify it and say, well, it's because the mob spawning rules are not explicit, or they're not clear, you know. And then I mean, I don't know what that means. That's your job to make the, you know, if you're the programmer, that's your job. And people also complain a little bit about the redstone. Some of the redstone mechanics are not entirely intuitive, but that's partly because, you know, they're trying to simulate circuits, and it's kind of difficult to make them work. And so, you know, but again, like, there's stuff that there's the kind of glitches. I guess the block update detector that you can make out of redstone and other materials and then things, like, that's it's a emergent thing. Like, it wasn't intended, but because of the way the game mechanics work, you can have a block update detector, which is pretty arcane, and I've never used one. I can't really think of any good ways to use one. But you can detect when a block changes, like when grass grows onto dirt. Like, you can kind of detect that somehow. What does that say? Bad unit transition. Alright. Start thinking from ready. Bad transition. Add section from starting thinking. Yeah, so there's still errors there. Not sure if that's a big problem or not. So why was I talking about emergent gameplay? Yeah, so we want games to be able to achieve that. I think it's possible in Terraria and Starbound, but from what I've seen, very few people actually do it. It's one of those things that it's not a natural extension of gameplay. Like, building a mob trap in a lot of ways is like a natural extension of the gameplay. I mean, you build, like, what do you do in Minecraft? I guess the first thing I do is you know, build a house, and that's for security, right? Because you want it safe at night. And then you kind of, you know, you create safe areas by putting down torches and then lighting up places. And then once you're safe, you realize, well, now that I'm safe, I no longer have access to bones and arrows and rotten meat. You know, I no longer have access to mobs because I've made myself safe. And so then, to get experience and to get those items, you have to create a situation where you can safely kill the hostile mobs and gather the resources from them. So then the mob trap is a very natural outcome of just playing the game. Like you make yourself safe, and you realize that in doing so, you sacrifice all the loot that you would otherwise get, and so then you kind of create this artificial situation where the monsters will spawn. Like even if it's just a dark room, and you kind of lure them in the corner and you punch them to death. Like even if it's that, it's not really an automatic mob grinder, but it's an artificially designed mob spawning situation, you know? And it's just a natural outcome because you want experience points. So you don't really need to tell people to design these things. Whereas I've played Terraria, I haven't played the latest update, and because it's kind of repetitive and not that interesting after a while. But you know, in playing that, I've killed a few bosses, and I've never felt the need to do anything that the game designer did not intend, which is not a good thing. I mean, you might think, well, that sounds like a good thing. Like the game designer really thought things through. No, it means that the game is never more than itself, if that makes sense. I guess another thing to talk about, the games that allow you to mod the game or allow you to create custom levels. I guess a good example would be Skyrim by Bethesda and StarCraft 2 by Blizzard. In Bethesda, ever since, actually, let me think about it. Yeah, so ever since Morrowind, which is a long time ago, they made the game deliberately so that you can mod them. Partly, they make the game like that so that it's easy for them to create expansions. So Morrowind had 2 official expansions, like the Tribunal and Blood Moon, and they're kind of like mods. But they made the engine so that like other people, like players, can also create mods and just kind of change the game. You can add content, you can kind of move stuff around and stuff like that, and just kind of change the map by modding it. And so then that creates a situation where the game can become something that the game designer did not intend, because you're opening up the game engine through these modding tools. You're opening it up to everyone. So then the game becomes more than just what you made, which is kind of amazing. Like you make something, but then it becomes something more. And with StarCraft 2, it's not mods, but there's custom maps. I guess Warcraft 3 was like, there's always been kind of the possibility of custom maps, but over time, like Warcraft 2, StarCraft, and then Warcraft 3, and then now StarCraft 2. Like each time they release a game, like they've made the custom maps more powerful, I think. So now you can make first-person shooters in StarCraft 2 using the custom map tools, which is kind of interesting. But you can it's not. I mean, the idea is, or the intention was just to make kind of custom maps, but they've made the custom maps so powerful that they are essentially mods, or they essentially can be mods. Which I don't know if there's that much distinction between the two really, or I don't know where the line is between the two. But so again, like StarCraft 2, you buy StarCraft 2, you play the game, okay, that's fine. But then you can kind of download these custom maps that other people have made, and again, then StarCraft 2 is more than what Blizzard made, because you now, through the work of other people, you extend the game, you create more and different types of gameplay using the game engine. And that's, again, there's kind of value there beyond what the designer made. And I think that's kind of better than just having a game where it's just what the game designer made and that's it. Did the game crash? No, it hasn't crashed. It's kind of thinking. The AI is kind of trying to figure things out. So I think Stonehearth, if they can get it to work, because you can see the AI is struggling a bit, it's kind of getting lag spikes every now and then. But if they can get it to work, I can imagine it would just be emergent gameplay all the way. Like like all sorts of stuff that you don't design. Like things would just happen. I mean, we have these characters. They get tired. They get hungry. Yeah, there's gonna be. And I think that's the intention too. I think that's what they wanted to do in the first place, is to create an engine for emergent gameplay. And that's why the AI is so complex. That's why the AI is able to build these simple walls in this really complex way. Although I don't really know if that's they should keep it like that. Because, you know, look how complex, look how long it takes for them to build this wall. Look at this. How long have we been sitting here ranting away? So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but the skeleton is there, you know, the framework is there. It's possible. Whether or not you want to do it like that is a different question, but you can do it. So they're kind of building an engine of possibilities, at least to start off with. Alright, it seems like they've finished building the wall. And it really, I mean, it just seems like a lot of work for not much result. I mean, look at it, it's not that special, is it? It's just the wall. Like, we've spent that much time doing this? That's just this? Really? Anyway, never mind. Alright, let's put these fences down. These fences that I don't think is a good idea, because it's too complicated. Look how complicated they are. Can I just move across a little bit? Let's just turn this around. Turn this around, there we go. Let's just take these fences and put them down. Yeah, you have to click on the fence, click put down, and then put it in place. I'm pretty sure that's not efficient. Oh, it's a gate, my bad. So if I put that there, does that join up? Kind of? Yeah, kind of. Alright, let's put that there. Put that there. Is that the gate? Yeah, it's the gate. Picket fence, there we go. No, get out of the way, guys. There. So I need a lot more than what I have, don't I? What happened there? They didn't actually put it down. Huh. That's odd. So I need more fence. Okay, now she's gonna put it down again. Alright, so they make it in they managed to do it in the end. So I think I need like, so that's 10. Another 10, and then maybe I just make 20 more for now. Like, you see how... Yeah, I don't think that's the best way to do fences, but you know, let's just leave it for now. Let's just go with it. We need more wood. Let's just chop down more trees. Oh, there's a big tree behind here. What does that say? Bad frame transition. Add action from starting thinking. Assertion failed. Yes, all sorts of bugs going on. Can't even plant trees yet. Every night they burn a block of wood. So eventually we're gonna use up all the wood on the map. Or at least just the wood we can get to, because we can't climb cliffs. And so they can't actually get down here. They can go all the way around here, all the way around here. So that... wait a minute. Where does that end? I think that ends there, doesn't it? Yeah, so I don't know if they can get through there. Or at least they can't actually chop down the entire map, because they can't climb the cliffs. They get stopped by the cliff, so they can get about that far. Let's see around here. And then I don't know if they can get across there. Actually, I've chosen a bad spot. Like, they can't actually go very far. Well, I mean... I was just kind of looking at it. I mean, you can kind of imagine how awesome this thing is gonna be. I mean, if we zoom out, like there's 6 beds. Imagine like a village, and there's all like, you know, 20 of these or like 50 of these little guys walking around doing stuff. I mean, it looks like it's gonna turn out to be something quite amazing if they can get it to work. Imagine like zooming out and then there's like a whole city, you know, built up. Could be quite amazing. It could be quite amazing. It's just really slow at the moment. And the AI is struggling at the moment. And nobody is helping the carpenter at all. So there's a long way to go yet, but there's a lot of potential. I think we can agree on that. Let's put that there, is that right? Yep, that's right there. Put that there. Maybe it's too close together. What I want to see is, they do avoid the walls, right? They don't walk through the walls, at least. And they don't walk through the fence, right? What I'm really doing right now is I want to see if the defense gate works. It's taking like ages just to get there. What I want to do is complete the fence and then put a gate on it and see if they actually use the gate. That's what I want to know right now. And it's taking them absolutely forever to get there. And there's still scaffolding here, they forgot about this. Or have they? No, she's taking that down. Maybe they haven't forgotten. We'll see. We'll see in a bit. Eventually. Because what happens is I put the table like inside the fence, right? So if they want to eat stuff, they're gonna have to pick up the berries, go through the fence gate, and then sit down, eat the berries, and then come back out through the fence gate. So just see if the AI can manage that. The music's kinda nice. I've got it pretty low, so I don't know if you can hear the music. What's going on in the background? I think I can just close it off there, so it's not quite square. Maybe I should have not. Oh, wait a minute. I can move the items. Oh, that's interesting. Items you can move. The walls you can't delete or move. At least not yet. Maybe they'll make it so that you can move them later on. Yeah, so they're not walking through the walls, they're actually avoiding the walls and the fences. Pathfinding might get really complicated later on because like each of these is each one is an individual item, right? So the pathfinding has to do kind of collisions, or does it somehow turn this into an abstract shape? Like, if they have to move from like here to here, does the pathfinding calculate every single item in between, or does it just kind of turn that into an abstract rectangle to optimize the pathfinding? I don't know. I am not an expert in designing AI, so I really have no idea. Wait a minute. The fence? Put that there. We're almost there, guys. We almost have. Almost have a fence around the table. You might be wondering why we put a fence around the table. Oh, that's interesting. I put that command in just as she was picking it up from the stockpile. But she put it away first and then took it back up again. So at least you don't lose the command in between them moving it to the stockpile. How many did I say he should make? 7. Okay, that's too many. That's too many. Can we like stop that? Can we like drag? Oh, we can drag it. Okay, I see. You drag it in to cancel. He's still going though, no? He's stopping. Alright, he's stopping. Alright, fence. Haha! You no longer have direct access to the table. Now. These guys are smart enough to use the table. The gate is kind of swung open a little bit. I think the gate is just automatic. It just swing open when anyone is close to it. In which case, you don't have to... Well, that simplifies it a little bit. You don't have to manually open and close the gates. Or the AI doesn't have to manually open and close the gates. It just kind of does it automatically. So the pathfinder can count it as just an open space and then just walk through it. We'll see though. We'll see if they get... Let's just wait until they get hungry. And I think that's it. Like, well, actually no. There's still the roof of the simple room. Remember how they don't actually know how to build the roof? Let's do that. In fact, let's just put a simple room there. So, aside from the roof of the simple room, everything else is working as intended. Is that right? That's pretty good. They've made some progress. Let's chop down some big trees for the simple room and some small trees. You know, if you go to their website and you look at the, like, every time they release an update, like, people will make comments and people are talking about, oh, I've bought access to the game, but I won't start testing it until there's a save function. You can save your world. I don't know about these guys. Why would you want to save this? It's so early in the development, and there's nothing to save. I guess it's a little bit annoying to have to start from scratch every single time you want to test it, but there's not much there, right? There's nothing to save. So when I can save, I'll start testing it. Bro, just test it. Yeah, so aside from the roof of the small hut, everything else is working as intended. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Hold on. I didn't pay attention to this. She walked through the fence, right? Or fence gate to get into there. Just wait until she finishes eating and then comes back out. Yeah, the gate just opens automatically. Okay, I see how it works. So basically it's an open... It's just an opening that the villagers can just walk through, and the animation is kind of faked. At least for now. I'm guessing at some point in the future they have to make it so that it opens for people and not animals, so you can, you know, keep sheep in there or something. Alright, so the fences work as intended, the beds work, the tables and chairs work. Everything works except for the roof of the small hut. That's good. That's good. Progress. Good. I think we should give these guys a... I don't know if they deserve a trophy yet. I mean, it's still early days. Maybe they deserve like a sandwich. Should give these guys a sandwich for their progress. Everything mostly works. Good job. I don't know if you guys really want to sit here with me and watch them fail to build the roof. It is gonna take a while. What else can I talk about? I've been talking about a lot of stuff. It's just too fine-grained, I think. Like, the construction stuff is just too fine-grained. I don't think there's any point in them building these things one block at a time. I mean, if it's like one column at a time and one wall segment at a time, I don't know. Never mind, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just talking about the detail. Look at them. Oh wait, did it crash? No, it's still going good. It's still going. Almost crashed. I'm really just talking about the detail here. Like like the game is designed at this level of detail. Like every single. Okay, I think the game did crash. I think that's. Oh wait, no. There's a leak somewhere. Some sort of memory leak or something, I don't know. So it's like it's at this level of detail. Whereas, you know, you might imagine like instead of cube by cube, you make it like wall by wall, and then I don't know I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Yeah, I think the game's it's gone. It's not gonna it's mostly gone. It's still running. It's just yeah, so it's hit some it's not doing very well. We also chopped down quite a few trees. The trees were here, right? We chopped down this many trees just to build this. Yeah, I mean, like, if you zoom out